Madam Premier, Mr. colleagues, members of the media, good afternoon. I see my ministry as the social conscience of Bermuda. And as a result of that, I believe that the rubber needs to meet the road, and indeed it's my commitment that the rubber does meet the road. I have a very wide and interesting and challenging array of responsibilities tasked to me under my remit in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Families, and Community Development, to get it right. And that minor revised title for the ministry, I think, explains it all, and has come about as a result of a consultative process between the people of Bermuda, my permanent secretary, myself, of course, the Premier, who agreed that with the numbers in our community that participate in not only recreational sports, but commitment to competitive sports, it was warranted to include sports in the title so as to not send an ambiguous or a mixed message that sports had now been placed on a back burner. Quite the contrary. With that, I would just like to go over so that the public is clear in their minds as to what responsibilities under my ministerial portfolio I have a mandate for delivering. Under the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs, and this is in no particular order relative to the specific designated departments, there's responsibility, the Ministry for the Bermuda Day Parade, the Gumbe Festival, the Heritage Month celebrations, community education programs, National Heroes Day, Emancipation Day, and Seniors Week. In youth and sports, responsibility will be for National Sports Center, where we've just broken ground as a matter of weeks ago on the new National Aquatic Center, which we're very proud of. And in fact, was delayed as a result of going back and forth through a consultative process, regardless of what you may read in your own newspapers under the penmanship of your own selves. We have had a very thorough due diligence process with a committee of trustees under the stewardship of a former Attorney General, who is now the Bermuda Football Association president, and a renowned corporate lawyer who is as astute as anyone in this room regarding what is expected of him in the responsibility for oversight at the entire National Sports Center, and that is Mr. Sean Tucker as the chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Mr. Larry Mussenden as his deputy, and other able and qualified committee members in support of the mandate that they have, which includes a former Olympian who was the first female diver in the Olympics that was black, and brings a wealth of experience, having participated and competed at some of the best aquatic facilities worldwide. So with that as an example, I feel the due diligence process has been engaged thoroughly enough for me to give the benefit of doubt and then have it removed by the doubt being certified through consensus of the entire board that the way they're going with the vision we have for that community facility is on track. And the other thing I would mention with regard to that trustee board at the National Sports Center is that they have delivered on time and on budget. There may have been one kerfuffle with regard to the laying of the track, but as a result of it being under warranty, there was no additional expense incurred for it to be relayed properly. Then we have also under youth and sports 3 community centers in all areas of the island covered, the central, the east, and the west. We have the tennis and softball stadiums, W.E.R. Joel Stadium. We have the summer day camps, seasonal camps, island campgrounds, and the after-school program is also a part of our responsibility. In the Department of Human Affairs, we have responsibility for our Human Rights Commission, the gender issues, International Women's Day, human rights policy advice, race relations advice, and the Women's Council, which is just newly been formed and we're very excited about. And I think the Premier is even more excited, and that's indicative of the appointment of at least 6 people to the legislature under her tenure. And I'm very pleased to have that kind of counsel, that kind of sensitivity with the number of women that we have in society responsible for just about everyone who's here and who will come in future generations. Without the women, where would we be? In the Department of Child and Family Services, we have responsibility for the Happy Valley Daycare Center, a leading daycare center which is held to the highest esteem based on measured outcomes and the application of the skill sets of those charged with our young minds at a very formative age in their lives. We have family services, we have the residential care services, cross-ministry intervention team, the Bermuda Youth Counseling Service, family treatment system, and the emergency shelters as part of the Emergency Measures Organization team, or the EMO team. Under the MIRRORS program, we have responsibility in the ministry for community programs for at-risk youth using 5 core principles, including 1, commitment, 2, developing responsibility, 3, integrity, 4, self-expression, and 5, possibility and potential. In the Department of Financial Assistance, another very obvious social conscious area where we have to have a degree of sensitivity and a degree of compassion without compromising process. And that is going to be challenging because we are proud people in Bermuda, and we deserve to be proud because look at our country. Our country is among the best countries in the world, which is why our Minister of Immigration, or the minister who has that responsibility, is going to be challenged, because when there are invited guest workers here and come to do a good job, a dedicated job, a job that we require, when there is a succession plan and it's time for them to leave, they don't want to. Well, that says something about what we're doing here in Bermuda and how we live. So with that in mind, I think we need to support the initiatives of the Immigration Department with regard to protecting our people first. And I don't want to go into that area because that's my responsibility. Not my responsibility, it is my opinion. On the Department of Financial Assistance, as I said, we have the Child Daycare Allowance Program, the assistance for most seniors, assistance for disabled individuals, assistance for low income earnings, and the unemployed. And that is a slight overview of the responsibilities that we now have under my ministerial portfolio, and I felt it warranted to go through them because it is a realigned ministry, I think, as we are now all aware. And finally, I'll just end on some of the goals that we are looking to achieve, and these are not limited to, but include, under community and cultural affairs, to keep traditions alive, to expose our youth to our traditions, and to celebrate them, as well as celebrate ourselves, as opposed to looking to criticize ourselves first and foremost. And thirdly, to connect the past to the present. History is most important in identifying why we are who we are and what significance the historical evolution has played in bringing us from the past to the present. Private-public partnerships, which are PPPs, that's an initiative that we're looking to engage the private sector and good corporate citizens who have a conscience with regard to their role in this community. And as far as entertainment, for instance, is concerned, we're looking to get some kind of supplemental support so that all the resources does not have to come from us, with the commitment to austerity plans that has been well articulated by our Premier in committing to reducing the national budget by at least $150 million. And finally, number 3, I'm hoping to reintroduce in an organized way through structure a boxing center, I would hope. And I'm looking for engaging corporate citizens to assist, because that's going to require some budget. And we're going to need to have a spirit of cooperation to achieve this. And I think we have a gold medal winner, an Olympic medal winner, who was a bronze medalist, who was a boxer, and the only medal winner from any Olympiad who is challenged in various ways, but has a passion for what he did best in the height of his career. And I think that a part of the, I hate to say rehabilitation, but the part of the regenerating, re-energizing a commitment through a productive contribution is to recognize the talent that we might even have in people who may have gone off the rails for a bit, for whatever reason, and bring them back into the fold by identifying synergies that will help them not only respect themselves more, not that they don't already, but you can always do a little better, but to find in them the passion that burned when they were active, that they could pass on with skill sets to younger generations who might be identified with similar talent at the age the talent he had or she had was identified. And then we have finally the Child and Family Services focus, which will be on intervention with adolescents, a focus with intervention in identifying and assisting high-risk individuals regarding their behavior. To change behavior, first and foremost, you have to change attitude. To change attitude, you have to resonate with the hearts, minds, and souls of those that you're trying to help change. Because the change is only going to come through a commitment from them to change themselves. And third is the commitment to address those with gang involvement, which is one of the critical hot button issues that every member of this community is concerned with. And one of the things that I'm really concerned with that we don't hear much talk about is those tender age children of victims who suffered fatal wounds, who are now orphaned by at least one parent. These kids, if there's not intervention, can you imagine at an early age, as they progress, get into our school systems, coming from their nuclear family and hearing the kind of talk, comments, the pain, the hurt, the confusion. If there's no intervention, what are the next steps? What is their mental state going to be like? What is their social interactivity going to be like? What is their social conscience going to be like? What is their character development going to be like? That's a huge challenge for a young child, 4 or 5 years old, who may have witnessed a father flying a kite drop before him and go lifeless. I mean, that's the most painful experience that I could ever imagine at that age, because we all have been that age at some time in our lives. Serious, serious problems that we need to address with not a whole lot of talk, but a whole lot of action. And that's a commitment that the ministry, not just myself. I'm a steward, but I'm not a do-all end-all. It's a number of people, like everyone in this community who has the concern, but have the expertise and the commitment and the passion in our ministerial staff to move the country forward in addressing these very, very daunting challenges. And finally, we're looking to provide social / intervention response when we identify challenges that afflict individuals and the community at large as a result, by committing to assessing it and then looking at solution-based strategies and how we most appropriately address the particular challenge. So I thank you and invite any questions at the end, and now give way to